Live. Hi, guys. Yeah, it's Sunday. What can I say? Another day to me. Entertainment purposes only, guys. Got to remember that. Need you guys to like and share and subscribe if you can. Subscribing is free. You can take it off. Um, if you do miss me and you still want to see it, or if you can't find it, just search for Lady Hippy at the bar, and it'll show 3 or 4 that I've already uploaded. Sometimes it'll be 4 months, 1 week, 1 day. I have no idea. They just throw them up there. So, yeah, they that's their preview. Um, I had a bit of a meltdown over what's happening at our campuses and universities, and wondering where somebody's saying is. Um, you know, I don't know if anybody remembers Kent State. I'm an old woman. And even Kent State, I was a young girl when that happened. But they should look up Kent State before they keep doing what they're doing, taking over halls and so forth and so on. That's not a peaceful protest. It's an unlawful hatred act. Not to mention, I'm sure it violates lots of zones by taking over whatever you building, whatever it was that they took over. It is in California, so can't say too much actually about that because Emory here in Georgia, which is I thought a good school, I was wrong. At parent teacher conferences, if they even hold them anymore, I think they do hold them just so that the cops can pepper spray them and drag them out and tase them as they're going. Because they asked why you teach him this. This is an indoctrination, and then whew, those 5 cops show up and you're gone. It's an entertaining world lately. It really is. How about militarized? Good grief. So I saw a police tank show up at that compound that the protesters took over the building. They just knocked the glass in and unlocked the doors. Wasn't hard. I think they used a rock. Yeah, a little help. Um, so I saw the footage. I was like, so the cops have to have a freaking tank now? They did. And a ladder, like kind of a, it wasn't even a ladder, but it stretched up in little sections. So it was a ladder, but not the stair cut. And I'm shocked. I'm like, this thing's got a ladder. Meanwhile, the more protesters are showing up just to make sure, I guess, if they use the tank, that they'll run over quite a few. I'm not sure. I saw, like I said earlier, yesterday, saw several teachers and faculty were arrested as well. Yay. They should have been fined and then fired from their jobs, but that's just me. So we're not going to go with that one today. As everybody knows, Mother's Day is up and around the corner. God only knows. I'm sure the children are tired of seeing that show up once a year. Swear to God, I think it was last week, but yeah, you can't keep up with time. It's just soon. It just goes. This morning it's Sunday, so there was a bunch going on. My husband is still trying to get the dishwasher part and get that installed for me. And he made breakfast. It was a good breakfast. He's very good about that. It's very appreciated. He was trying to help me get in here and get on my podcast because I say I want the block from 10 to 12, and that's what I'm sticking with. And so I was panicking because it was like 3 to 12, and a friend of mine showed up, the one that we're boarding 2 of her cats. Then my son showed up to bring us some water and stuff. Meanwhile, it's like 1 minute to 12, and my husband's running in with bottled water and stuff for my son because he goes to Costco. We don't. There's just 2 of us. So anyway, we do appreciate it when he picks up the water because that's what I use for my coffee, and my husband drinks tea. So, that can kind of run into some money because basically if you can't drink the water here, it's putrid. It's horrible. I'm giving it to our animals, and even boiling it, it's just awful. Yeah, I kept saying, why do I see these rings in my shower? Because I clean the shower stalls. That's just one of the Kitty 500. I give them a 10 most of the time. It's like one of the matchbooks hula hoops you used to watch your kid play with. It's my cats now. Yeah. So I don't know what that's all about. I think I'll let that be for right now. So I have all that going on. And It is nice though to have the water. That my son dropped that as well. He's busy. He's home on a Sunday. He's usually at work on Sunday. He usually works about 6, 7 days a week. I know he was at work yesterday. I didn't even have time. You have to forgive me. I didn't have time to do a manicure, and I do my own. I do my own nails, and I don't want to go and pay somebody $300 and a kidney to put pink on my fingernails. So I just didn't get time to do it. My husband went ahead and took the kitten that was about 12 days old that they were going to put back out. And there are no sidewalks here, but they said they were going to set it on the sidewalk. They found it in the middle of the road. So my husband took the kitten and brought it to me, and then he ran off real quick to get milk because we don't keep uh, baby milk. We should have. We've nursed five and healed wounds, healed eyes. I mean, it's amazing. People think, oh, they're cats, they're fine outside. Get a grip. Read a book. Watch a movie. No, they're not. Watch Garfield. He ain't like being outside. He ain't waiting for that pizza. It's like the chipmunks, They didn't go back to that tree. They stayed in the house. Dave had to work for them. Well, that's what happens with cats. They know what you're saying to them, but they ain't going to bother. And I love the looks you get. And in particular, my youngest was Pixie. We saved her life as well. She's the one that stepped in my hand. I was almost gone. We'd saved all that. She's okay, but she's an annoying little pup. I'll tell you what. She knows that I'm doing a podcast, and you all seen her. She'll walk right across. I'll be spraying her with a water bottle. I have to give her a towel. So she don't care. And she squint her eyes at you like, are you really going to do that? And it's like, you want to just slap the fur off of you can't do that, So we're having another one of those, what we like to call Groundhog Days. And my husband, and it's getting hotter and hotter. They said it was going to rain all week. And so he kind of moved his plans around for that because he's an ace mechanic. And so his friends keep him quite busy. They do pay him, though. It's not like when we were around the family and they'd just show up and Robert would do 3 or 4 hours worth of mechanic work and they never paid him. Didn't even have to boy beer. He don't drink beer, but you get my point. Family's family. Down here, we just have my son and my grandson and my granddaughter. The rest are down closer to Macon. So that was a fun morning, and I had to get. I call her fearless because this little thing, she didn't even have teeth. One eye closed because it was infected. She didn't have teeth. I know. She was running across the middle of the road trying to find her family, I'm sure. Scared, stupid, just trembling. So we got, Robert, like I said, got her the food real quick. I mean, it was like 20, 30 minutes. He was back making the food because they only had the powdered kind. So she went from being just this little limp little baby, scared, stupid, to now she's about as big as both my hands. And she goes everywhere, or she tries to, because I limit her right now. She knows how to use the litter box now. She's not 2 weeks old, or she might be maybe in the next day or two. She's still a very little baby. So now, and I found that when she cries, which I think is she wants her bottle, she's crying because she's got to go to the bathroom. So she's letting me know, carry me in. And there are two that are right there by her, but haven't been able to let her just run about because there's too many things she could get under and then just hide, and she might die like that. She has a severe infection on that eye that I'm treating. So it's been one of those things, and then my friend stopped in so we could do pictures of her cats, and she was astonished because they've grown up now. It's been about 3 weeks or so, might be 4 weeks coming up. And cats grow fairly quick once they hit their spurts. It's like they jump into adolescence because it's 7 years to one of ours. And I told her she was going to be shocked, but I did not expect her today. I expected her tomorrow, but she made it today. So my house is a dismal failure of my life as a housekeeper because I can't do anything. This baby, I've shown it before, she's completely helpless. I mean, she's completely helpless. And so it's having a human baby at, say, a year and a half, 2 years old. I mean, she's that little. She's still not 2 weeks old. And even the vets won't work on her because she doesn't need anything. And the antibiotics could be called in. And so it's, wait till she's this age. And then, because they can't do much unless she's really, really sick, and then they'll try to save her, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's just one thing after another with cats. And explaining to my girlfriend what, because they brought things for those two cats, but they couldn't be used because they wanted what my cats ate. They hadn't had moist food. She'd always fed them the same dry food. You can't do that to your animals, folks. Do you want to eat the same dry thing every day? Hey, Furball. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, everybody run. Oh, goody. Okay, well, that's easier on me. I'm sorry, Minnie, probably mean to get you, but okay. Yeah, this house is owned by the cats, and they allow us to stay here so we can feed them. So as I said, she had the two cats, and she does still. She came out to get a couple of pictures with them, and she was astonished at how much larger they are. And she has one of hers is a sister to the little pixie that runs across my screen all the time. So, and now we have Fearless. I call her Fearless because this cat was running down the middle of the street in the middle of the night. My husband and I had both retired. I didn't even hear the doorbell. I was, I think, nodding off, maybe watching something. God only knows. So that's my life, and we're caught up with that. And yes, I'm still going to be here all blooming week. Aren't you just happy? I don't know what anybody else. I'm not getting a lot of feedback. So I don't know if it's people haven't. See, now they're tearing apart the kitchen, which is already a mess, and I don't want to deal with it today, but I got to deal with it. I really don't know what is going on in our world anymore. When you take a former president and you demand $500 million, like per day, in court after 4 impeachments didn't work, you got to wonder. I mean, they've had Hunter Biden's laptop since 2016. Then it was, well, it got lost. Then it was, well, we found it, but we can't get none out of this blank. Well, people took copies. Just can't make this shit up. I mean, they're showing this money through 6 banks through to 9 of their family. All of this dirty money. And it was all in this laptop of Hunter Biden. Yeah, they still haven't caught up to that boy. I don't know. Maybe he's in one of the countries you can't extradite from. Personally, I hope he goes to Russia so what's his name can send him to Siberia. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like that on a couple of people, but we won't go there either. So the former president, you can get in court and take buildings and millions of dollars, but you can't find that little Hunter Biden, can you? With that dirty money. You even know what banks they've dirtied that money through. You know what family members got that money. Old brother Joe. Yeah. Yeah. God knows how much his wife got or his son Hunter got because he really went wild. He enjoyed the partying a lot. And then he found crack. He loved that. I don't know who got him off that shit, or even if they have. But nobody's investigating him. But the former president, you could pick some shit up and take them to court. They did it to a 4-star general who was on his staff. Russian collusion. That's the name. Russian. If I heard that one thing, I can't even make myself say it, collusion. And they're still trying that. Now it's, I don't know if anybody's caught up with the Fanny or Phony or whatever the hell her name is. Suddenly she had paid this attorney to help with suing Trump for Georgia ballots that he wanted counted. And they are still finding dumpsters full of ballots that voted for Trump. So he wasn't really wrong, but they're not putting that in there. And at first they put her in court because they went to the Bahamas and stuff. She took this other attorney that she hired to put on the case, paid him $960,000, just under the $1 million mark. And now suddenly that amount has gone down and down. And now he's only been paid, I think it was $98,000 now. Really? I mean, really, like none of us have video clips. Yeah, we got video clips of that shit. We do. But she was not taken out the case. The judge, which is not recused from her case, and he knew a bunch of stuff about her, should have recused himself automatically and didn't. But they did have to let go of the attorney. That when she took him, when her and him went to the Bahamas or wherever it was, she always paid him back in cash. Yeah, it's hard to funnel cash, isn't it? But she keeps it in her mattress because her daddy taught her that. Because banks fail. So she had that near $1 million to give that man. I don't know where she got that. Apparently, she got that from a particular rapper was raided, and they took all of his jewelry, and it was to the tune of several $100,000, like $1 million that she paid him. Now that's suddenly gone, and she really only paid him, X couple thousand. And she paid again, like I said, for all day trips. She paid him back in cash because Daddy said keep that money under that mattress. How high is that damn mattress? I mean, like Princess and the Pea. It's ridiculous. I mean, seriously, there's no charges. The judge hasn't been asked to recuse himself. The whole thing is a farce. But again, you can put the former president up there and try to ruin his life and make sure he doesn't win because he's too busy in court with a gag order. He's not allowed to speak, but he's got to be at the court. No, he doesn't. His attorney does. Oh, I'm sorry. That's for everybody else. Yeah. Does anybody else know the laws? Look it up. There's tons of people that are out there saying, "What the hell? You didn't get it for shit. You made it up. It was proved that they made this all up, all of the charges." He was never found guilty of anything. In fact, they actually found that they had made up everything that they said that he and his staff had done. They made it all up. There was no Russian collusion, which even what's his name, Putin, isn't it? I can't ever tell. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. Putin was even saying, no, we don't have any interference in your elections. Well, if they did, they're not going to say so. But if, I doubt even they would have decided to take on an 81-year-old man who couldn't do shit in the first 45 years he was in there. So why does he get to now? I can't figure that out for the life of me. What they think? How old do you got to be when they take your keys? I was in my late 50s and I gave up night driving because I felt that I was a danger. I mean, yeah, the civil service does driving because he falls off bikes a lot and climbing stairs a lot. And you got to love the reactions at the podium that he actually has to read there. He's got the hard copy here. And still he mumbles something and then just turns around and walks off because he didn't get it right. I don't know what they're giving the giggle girl. They call her vice president. I call her giggle girl. She don't do nothing but go around and giggle. No matter what, I have never yet seen any coverage of this woman when she's not giggling. She's always giggling. Happy clap. Just a happy, 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 happy woman. I got news for you folks. That broad ain't doing shit. And that she is drunk and she's on drugs constantly. So they hide her a lot. They always do hide the VP. They're not so important. And of course, yes, my allergies are killing me, and I forgot to bring a tissue. It's been that way all day. What is this? I don't know what this is. I do not know what that is. Yeah, why is my YouTube not up? I know I'm not paying attention much, really, but you guys weren't that interested in anything I had to say yesterday or today, more than likely. I did put out, there we are. I did get out a double dare that anybody that wants to talk about this mess that's happening on campuses across the United States, come and talk to me. Ain't anybody picked that up yet? Not one. Not one. They don't have the courage of their convictions. They had plenty of courage when they were going against riot police for being in a building they broke into with the police in a tank. They're 4 or 5 deep, linked arms. I'm like, okay. Literally, paint that in black and white because it would be no different than 1939 Nazi. That's how they did it too. Eugenics. People don't even know that word. It's amazing what they don't teach people. And here in the Southern Belt, they don't have an education. They have basketball. They got football. Maybe they can get an education when they get in on their scholarship for sports. I don't know what happened to the rest of them. Most of them, like my child and my stepchild, got an education out of the state. That's how bad we are. It's like we're like 48 registered out of the states. What the hell are they teaching these kids? Not a damn thing. And if the parents say something, like I said, they get tased, pepper sprayed, 4 or 5 people drag them out, rip their clothes. It's just, you can't make that up either. I mentioned that they had a young man who went down to San Francisco, is where he started. Then he went out to Seattle. But um, you couldn't walk on the sidewalks between the tents that were on the sidewalks and the needles and the fecal matter. No, I'm talking really. It's not the horses weren't doing it. The humans were, yeah. So, and the shops were closed because people couldn't get into it. I mean, who knows what they're going to catch if they have to walk through, piles of human crap. Literally. Seattle is the same way. It's just gone almost. I mean, what did they think a sanctuary city would do? And why isn't that secession under the rules of the United States codes? That's exactly why they went to war against the South, supposedly about the slaves. No, people, the South is the breadbasket. That's why they went for him, and they had money. That's the other reason they went for him. Luckily, the slaves got free because of it, but they were an afterthought, trust me. I've read the letters between the presidents, even between the Pope. They got one from Abraham Lincoln in the Vatican. And one guy was able to go in and take pictures and work on it. And so you do learn. It's just the little trickles out of there, though. They're pretty good. The Vatican's had a couple thousand years to be pretty good. Wouldn't believe how many popes had kids. I could. Hmm. I'm trying to think of a lighter note here. I'm thinking the lighter notice. It was good to see my friend. She's my grandson's age. It's more like she calls me mom, and I call her idiot. So we're we're pretty good. But her mother's going to be dropping off supplies because it's been a month and it's time for them to add to the pile because Robert's keeping up with all that and it's expensive. And I showed her what I was talking about. So I'm going to take some pictures. She asked me to take some pictures so her mom can figure out what to get next weekend. Because even though there's only 2 of them, they eat what our cats eat. They hadn't given them moist food. We do. They have kibble for snacks at night. And believe me, the next morning, the bowls is just gone. They're done. So they get fed basically in the morning, towards evening, and then, of course, they have their water and their kibble stretched across the fireplace on a carpet, well, a rug. Which she liked that idea. She did not know that that's not face. Um, now I can't even think of it. I have such a day. I really am. What is it? Fresh Step. There it is. I won't use anything but Fresh Step. That other shit, you need a damn jackhammer to get out. If you don't believe me, get you some. Try that. Eat just one cat. And I don't have just one cat. This new rescued one's doing well. I'm hoping to find it at home. Um, the wild cats that come up out back and hang out on our patio and stuff. And I give them the leftovers and sometimes just make sure they eat, period. And they had babies. And they're about 3 weeks, 4 weeks older than the baby that was given to us. Middle of the night, they just come knocking down the door. Yeah, this cat, right? so, so we have another cat. I'm still trying to post it to Facebook to see if anybody will give it a good home. She's a very intelligent cat. Like I said, she's already using the litter box. She's already doing things like that. But she cries, and I had to figure out that's what she meant. So I'm up there with the stain sheets everywhere because I have her on the bed, so that I can do paperwork and pay bills and do all that stuff, and keep an eye on her. So that leaves me very little chance to come out and pick up the house and do all of that because the guys have the Kitty 500 at night and they sell tickets. So there's a lot of folks walking around leaving things behind. Some of their friends are elephants. You should see these litter boxes. And they're all big litter boxes. They ain't a little one. No, it's a big one. Yeah. Uh-huh. I swear. I mean, I don't know how many friends they bring in there, but I'm going to have to lock up the litter boxes at night. So I have all that to catch up with. I have my own laundry and all that to catch up with. I'd rather just sit around the bar and get drunk and say screw it all. I'm still waiting, like I said, on anybody to take me up on that dare. Show me, tell me, convince me why you guys should be up in your campuses instead of getting the education your parents paid for, or maybe the taxpayers paid for because Biden got rid of a lot of the student debt. And I had to work 3 jobs to pay for mine, and I served my country in the Army. Yeah. I'm still tempted to go over and cross the Rio Grande from Mexico side. I'll have a passport somewhere. I need a holiday, man. They're putting them up in hotels and stuff. Sure. Let me walk across that sucker. I need a couple weeks free vacation. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not a freckle. It was actually 6 months in most cases. They destroyed the hotel rooms. Just flat out destroyed them. They have to be just redone if there is a chance to do that. They got squatters everywhere in New York. Hilarious. And I love the squatter that's over in LA and the most exclusive home area with the stars and all that. Yeah, one of those houses weren't claimed, so they're squatting until somebody can get them out. They're trying to figure out legalese to do that. That's 2 weeks ago. You just can't make that shit up. Camels were floating by. At what point do you go, damn? Camels float. Dubai got hammered by such storms that they literally had like 20 feet of water running through the Sahara. Dubai took extensive damage. It was never built to withstand water problems. It's a desert. It's Saudi Arabia. Now there's a freaking what I don't know what you'd call it, a sea. I don't know. They had more rain in like 2 days than they'd had like in a decade. The camels are floating. I'm still hoping they made it somewhere. I don't know. When I saw that, I was like, let me read Revelation one more time. Was there anything about floating camels? Because I still can't think that out of my mind. There's floating camels. Y'all behave now. No, well, if they can't fit up there, well, they're going to make a spot. These are the two that we are boarding right now. She's a young girl. Some things went wrong in the relationship. She had to move into her mom's. She takes care of her brother, who's, I think, only a year and a half or so younger, but he's like a 5-year-old. So he has some learning disabilities, and that he won't ever be older. And her mother had remarried. Well, the mother has a problem with the stepfather. Get on with the son. The daughter's cool with it. She's just living on her own, working double shifts or 2 jobs because she took the brother with her so she could take care of him. And her mom wouldn't be getting grief because of the son. I don't know. I've met her mother. Her mother's really awesome, a lot younger than me. So, very pretty lady. So, in any event, right now they're all living together, and she asked to board the cats here because there was no room. Apparently, their home is smaller than ours, and we have a 2 level. And I was shocked to hear that they had less footage because we like have no footage. I think it's like 900 square feet. I don't know. It's not a lot. And my husband's got rid of like 5 sets of furniture before we got here. I mean, and now, of course, we took the dining room out and the 2 hutches, China hutches out. And he bought me a beautiful hutch, China cabinet that everything fit in. And he's been busy trying to get me curio cabinets because I had them on open shelf system. And that's the Kitty 500 part of the racetrack, the matchbook thing. They love that thing. All the stuff that they haven't broken has been shoved to the side or back to the wall. And this curio cabinet he got me is gorgeous, but I can't fit everything in it, even though there's things broken. I just threw my hands up. I haven't even cleaned it in like a month. I was like, You don't, after a while, you're like, I'm tired of picking this up. I'm tired of trying to glue it back together. You know, it's just, yeah, it's a pain. It really is. They're not doing it on purpose, but I'll be blessed if it's not a pain. And they know better. They know better. They run in packs because they're figuring only one of them will get shot with the water. As I said, I was real sorry to see that no one took up the challenge to speak with Lady Hippie here at my bar and convince me that it was okay to take care of the Palestinians and not worry about the Israelis who were murdered in horrific fashion. There are still fortified battalions in case people don't understand about Rafah. Yes, all of them were pushed south, and the Israelis made them safe corridors over and over. The terrorists used hospitals, schools, ambulances was the good one. The CAT scan room, awesome. Yeah, yeah, that's what they're using. And yet they got the metro, they got that in so well. I'm so glad our tax dollars went to work there. Yeah, they got that. Their metro is bigger than the London Underground. I kid you not. Bigger. It's bigger. So at what point, I want these people who are protesting, I want to see if any of you guys got some cojones, You got no conviction in what you believe in? Huh? Because all you're doing is telling everybody else they're racist. So they're not allowed an opinion because it's not yours. They're not allowed the same rules and codes of conduct because it's not the same as your opinion. So they have to be racist. Looks to me like you guys are doing all the damn being racist that you can squeeze out. I'm telling you what, you guys stink of racist so bad I can smell it up here. And you can figure out that for yourself. Maybe you want to Google that too. No, I don't drop videos unless I'm asked. I try to stay out of current events because it's stupid. Same with politics. I see no reason to worry about politics. The president is not elected by the people. Read it, Google it. It's there. The president is elected by the Electoral College. The president, once again, is elected to office by the Electoral College, not the people of the United States. Google it. I'm telling you word for word, quote for quote. I mean, it's right there. And it'll tell you, you can ask, when do they have the vote of the Electoral College? When does that come in? When do you vote? Anybody show hands? I got time. Really? November 4th, huh? Well, then I voted the office in 5, 6 months ahead of that. So why are y'all standing out in the rain, huddled by water? I love the curtain too. Look that curtain over there for the secret ballot. Nobody got a clue from that hat or your shirt or bumper stickers or signs in your yard. That's a real private vote, man. you know, I've been seeing videos of people that are stopped. They say, we need driver's license, registration, and insurance. I have driver's license. You don't have a driver's license. Have you got an ID? I got a passport. Well, I'll need to use that to see who you are. Well, we don't have to surrender our passports. We're not doing anything wrong. It's not illegal to drive without a license. Just, it's too much. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. And I'm like, this wasn't just one cop stop or one city or one state. This was like 20 states, 400 cities. People are running around. They don't need one. Ask the president. We don't even have to have an ID to vote. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to throw up. I mean, it's just you just can't get away from all that. And now, of course, it's turning around biting them in the ass, and ain't nothing they can do about it. All the rich folk done left New York. All the nice shops done left New York. You can't buy shit. I mean, literally, can't find toilet paper. And those houses are sitting empty because they done left them. Because nobody wants to buy them while all this crap is going on, right? So the squatters are moving in. And they're having parties, 300-400 people a night in there. Saying, how do you think it looks in there, huh? I bet it looks good. They got what they deserved. Now, a bunch of civilians did not deserve that. Young girl, walked with father, got shot and killed. Guy had been murderer in Mexico. They knew this. They let him go 5 times in the U.S. and they knew he'd murdered. So, what is it? Seattle, I think, is one, and San Francisco is another one of the sanctuary states. Whereas the cops would arrest you, they would take you in, book you, and then there's no bail. You don't have to have bail because the mayors and governors decided they could just go. So the cops are arresting them in the front door, and the guys in the side are taking them out the back door. You can go. So the cops quit showing up. It just That's what I see, what I'm looking at. And I can't stand any of these political heads that they're up there talking like they're a news anchor. I think the last news anchor we had was Cronkite. I mean, that was an actual news reader. I mean, I remember when President Kennedy was shot and killed, and we all know that wasn't no guy at a book depository. I've been to Dallas, lived in Texas a long time. No, that's why they killed him. Too. Guy that killed him didn't get fare much better. I think he left the planet a couple of days later, too. Suspicious circumstances. All right. Sorry, guys. I forget I have a parade kind of voice and I have a mic in front of me. And my husband is waiting for me, bless his heart, once again to get through the podcast. And he's been trying to give me time to do it. Like I said, my son came by, my friend came by, everybody's been by. And I'm stuck with the kitten because she's so little. And I don't want her to fall off my bed. My bed's a pillow top, so I have to have a step to get in it. I mean, I've got a stool. So I don't want this handful of a cat to fall off and bounce 3 times and see how many ribs they broke. That shit's expensive. So I'm constantly, if the cat's asleep, I'm sneaking out, trying to do laundry, trying to pick up. So my house was a disaster when my girlfriend came. My son didn't have time to stop. He kind of just threw the water out as he left to my husband, and off he went. So he was out running errands. So I thought that was an interesting start to our day. And they wonder why women need stiffeners. This is why, folks. And that's the tip of the iceberg, for God's sake. I swear. I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't sitting up here running my mouth on this thing. Mm. Oh, knows it was funny, you gotta admit. I know y'all know this. Even the regular political talking heads, the political news. It's not news. I just say political news from now on. It's like pirate, you know. It's just, you know what they are. They make you see them. So it's the same as pirate. They ain't gonna play fair. They ain't gonna tell you the news. They ain't gonna tell you straight news. They're gonna give a spin on it. They're gonna tell you their opinion on it. And truthfully, I wouldn't want their opinion on a bad day. If one of those twiddling little idiots told me it was raining and I was outside drowning in the rain, I still wouldn't believe them. That's how bad it is. And I'm not the only American who feels that way. Although I'm surprised there hasn't been a lot of movement on the channel. I thought for sure that Social Woodstock that we could do this. Because we are uninformed. And we have a right to be heard. And it needs to be heard. What's happening to our countries are turning apart from the inside, just like they promised that they would. Uh, you know, I want to stress what global jihad means. So they want the Israelis gone, of course. I have no idea why on that one. I cannot inform you on that. Um, but basically, that's the enemy. Mind you, Aaron and Moses were brothers. Okay, Aaron is his descendant was the Mohammed. Okay, that the Muslims worship, and that's where the Quran came from. And then, of course, you've got Moses for the Israelites. They were brothers. So that makes, this is the part that's fun. The Palestinians and Israelis are related, all of them. They're descended from 2 brothers. Maybe they weren't given their history books. I don't know. But they can't leave 5 battalions behind them. They can't. It won't take 3-4 months and then we'll be back again. Not to mention, Iran is lobbing missiles at them at 350 per night. And I dare any of you to tell me that we could handle 350 in a night because we couldn't. I'll tell you now, there'd be severe damage caused. But Israel's been laboring under these rules for so long that they have been able to create safe zones. People, when they build their homes, they have to be built with bomb shelters included. Unfortunately, that's where they ran to when the terrorists attacked. They're called kibbutzes, but to me, they're like little cities, little counties. They murdered everybody in there in horrific ways. And like I've said before, in ways so bad that Israelis don't release the footage because it's too upsetting to people, they think. And I agree with them because I've heard of some of the things that were done, and these are evil. These are beyond evil. It's again why I keep flipping through Revelation going, when did these guys show up? Where is that? When they had the locust, after they had the flooding, after they had the hail, the cranes fell during the hail and winds, landing on the mosque. Interesting. I mean, blowing people backwards and stuff. And then they got hit with locusts, right? Do you notice? Check some boxes somewhere in that Bible. You know that does the Talmud, even in the Quran. This is like, oh shit time. I thought it was interesting with the camels, but the locusts were a bit of a eye opener. I see that all the rich people are building these $1 billion shelters like they know something we don't, and that's more power to them. If the guys with the metal detectors don't find him, they're also going to have to figure out what they're going to do when they climb out of there and their food's gone. Because there ain't nobody been planting shit up there. That Walmart ain't still running. It's been 25 years. You got food for 25 years. You done been underground 25 years. Nobody found you, right? Uh-huh. And what happened to the planet while you were down there? Oh, okay. I don't think anybody's thinking about that. I'm sure the military does. Greenbrier used to be one of the places that they would go to, and they had to open it up because someone found the false wall was a door back in I think the 80s, might have been the 90s. But so they found out that Greenbrier um, was the shelter for like one arm of the military or something. It was nice. It was lovely. I think there was enough room for like a couple thousand folk. Don't you know they're going to tell civilians, hurry and get in your bomb shelters? Well, the Israelis do that. They have to. So they have we have sirens for tornadoes. So that's like 3.2 seconds to kiss your ass goodbye. Because these tornadoes have gotten more prolific. They've gotten way stronger. Like I said, more prolific and hitting places that they never did before because I grew up in Tornado Alley. And we didn't get 160 in a year. And now that I'll be 65 this year, we've had 160 flaming tornadoes in one night. Now, of course, the weather people got up there real quick and refuted that, but I don't believe them. I quit believing them a long time ago, too, because they don't want people to actually know nothing. And people seem to be agreeing with this crap. I mean, yeah, they know their kids are being indoctrinated at schools. Like I said, so they've done their protesting. It didn't do any good. They went to jail. If you homeschool your kids because you don't agree with how that's going on, well, the kid has no interaction, no fun, no nothing with other students. That's important too. You want friends, you want people from other places, you want to go to school, it gets you out of the house, you learn more. You learn, I don't care if it's a good system or not, you got to get these kids in classes. When in New York, you empty schools so you could put in migrants that you don't even know who they are because they don't have to have an ID. I've watched them pushing police backwards, saying, "You can't stop by my property. You're stepping on my property. I don't have to have an ID." I mean, and then spitting in their faces like this, and I'm like, "Wow!" And they're taking it. The cops are taking it. It's such a tragedy to hear about the 8 that were shot. 4 died on the scene. I understood that 2 or 3 more were in bad shape, but we're still fighting. All of them had wives. All of them had kids. They were serving a warrant. I don't know about you guys, but they flashed a picture of the guy, and they managed to shoot and kill him. But they showed he had a brother or somebody living there too, who also joined in the gunfight, I believe. When they showed that, they flashed it. Oh man, it was like a blur that went across. You know, I actually freeze framed it because I wanted to know what the hell they were trying to hide. I think I was from like, I don't know, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq. Pick one, but he was Middle Eastern as you could get. So that was a terrorist attack against the police, and still they won't say so. I've also seen a bunch of clips, even though they got body cams up, they're mistreating women in ways that are, well, you'd have to just look up some of those. Um, they're killing people by slamming them headfirst into curbs and not rendering any assistance because they said, oh, they were fine. They didn't need it. They died 2 days later. One was paralyzed. They had the wrong guy. He was paralyzed and died a year later. Yeah. So these people tried to sue. Do you know what? A lot of them have come up with some really smart stuff. You can't sue the state. Now, Georgia has this. I don't know about others, but you can't sue the state. So apparently, these cops are like God with a badge and a gun. I mean, and when they're armored up and with the glasses and ski mask, and it's like Jesus, even the God blessed Nazis didn't look this creepy. It's creepy. It's scary, and it's in my freaking country. That's not the country I serve. I didn't serve a country that said, "Hey, y'all go ahead and do what you want to this group of people here." And when they get done with this river to the sea, meaning they'll kill all the Israelis, who do you think they're going to go for next? Well, that'd be the infidels. If you don't understand the word infidel, look it up. Send me a tweet. I don't care. I'll tell you. An infidel is everybody who's not a Muslim. So whose ass do you think they're going for? And they said they were going to take these cities down from the inside. Have you seen Seattle? Have you seen San Francisco? That's just two good examples right there of them taking it down from the inside. You don't believe me? You can find it. You got to look for it because there's not much on it if there's any news. We won't even discuss the 700-mile long border that the governor and everybody other, New Mexico and several other states, literally had to throw all their resources at and the guard and put the wall up, put the wire up. And they sent people from D.C. down to tell them they had to take the wire down, stop building the wall. You can't, well, you cannot make this stuff up. You just can't. It's scary to me. I thought, and I never wanted children, being in the military and so forth. You don't want kids. I mean, I had plenty of family members that could have kids, and I didn't want to subject a kid to running back and forth. I was adopting myself. So I didn't want children, ended up having a child. God thinks it's funny sometimes. Great kid, love him, 45 this year. His son's 25. Yeah, and I'll be 65. There's 20 years difference between us. And then he has a younger daughter who will be 12 this year. Or is it 13? I get mixed up. You know, I'm like, and I fear for them. My grandson has already been in the Army. He's already out, and he's on civilian status now. I don't believe for a minute that my granddaughter rather, would go and be in the military. She's not the type, and she's not stupid. She knows that it's a very regimented life, and you're not going to be standing on the phone all the time. You will when you have your own time. They don't care what you do as long as it doesn't embarrass your country. That's another topic. So I don't doubt that for a second that our granddaughter will find something she's good at. But they don't offer anything. You don't get home ec, you don't get sewing, you don't get all that stuff. I did, but they don't. So I've got all that going on at the same time. I'm worried about them. So I think, okay, it's going to be better today. But it's not. They've got to take out these divisions that are on their behinds. There's 4 to 5 battalions there. It's not even a division. Look it up. I don't want to sit here and demand. But 4 or 5 battalions of soldiers behind you is a lot of death coming for somebody. Maybe both sides, but that's a lot of death to leave behind you because these people are evil. I thought nobody would ever surpass what Germany did. They can blame Hitler all they want. Hitler didn't do it all. All these other little heads did this. You know, they opened the crematoriums. They opened this. They killed. They did it. He was aware, and he was convinced that he was helping his country. And he actually did, because he stole so much between artwork and money that they started to get a lot of fine in Germany. I don't know if people remember hearing about the London Blitz, when they actually even hit Windsor Castle. And I mean, they bombed the shit out of London. One nothing standing in London. Everybody was down, and they were down the metro, and down the tube. Um, it's too much. There's no doubt people can be, for me, this idiotic and not realize what's really going on here. They're up there protesting for Palestine. And those same Palestinians would slit their throats without a second's thought. Not a second's thought. While they praised Allah for getting rid of another infidel. This is something these college students seem to have not gotten past their little blinkers or their blinders. They're infidels. So they're enjoying you walking around on their side. They're laughing. They're laughing so hard they can't breathe. Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to administer oxygen. They're laughing so much. Between that and the aptitude of what is called DC's, I don't know what you call it. They say it's Congress, but the Congress and the House, big deal. Yeah, you send another. Well, we're how much in the hole? Well, you veterans stay over there in the street. We're going to ticket you. You can't stay there, by the way. We've got a new law. We don't care where you stay, but you can't stay there. There's national camping ground, so forth and so on, that people have been desperate enough to move into with tents and try to do the smash and grab and make money off the stuff they stole. So they're trying to tell them now you can't stay here. That's working real well. So I don't know if y'all have caught this, because again, I'm not seeing this on the political news. I'm just hearing what else they did to Trump. I'm just like, what? Yeah, they know Biden is rotten to the core. Somehow they put a man back in there in office who didn't do shit when he was a senator, didn't do shit when he was the vice president, but he wasn't as bad as the giggle girl we got now. He hasn't done shit as a president. He'll be 81 after, 50 years in public office in D.C. What has he done that you guys thought that was, hey, he's good? I talk about these subjects to friends of mine, and they're just like, we're not voting for him. I'm like, your vote don't freaking count. Yeah. You want your vote to count? On the day that they stand up and they hold up that New England poll and say, we're going to vote for so-and-so, that's your vote. If you don't want them to do that, good luck at calling them and saying, call that off. We're going to have our own election. Supposedly they did that because some states are bigger than other states. Well, who gives a many on it? I mean, come on. A vote's a vote. You don't get to go, well, this state gets more, so we're going to have them get 31. I love that too. This state gets 31 votes, and this state gets 3 votes. And what? So you're doing the same shit that you would have been had you just let the people vote. And yet the people haven't stood up and said, what the hell? I miss George Carlin because he could tell this better than me. And by the way, that still stands. I'll take on anybody that wants to talk about this. Bring it. Let's see. What you want to put your money where your mouth is. Where is the bank behind your conviction and what you're doing is okay? Where's your idea that they're not killing you next? Anybody know about the Koran? Show of hands. I got a minute or two. Yeah, no, you don't. You don't. Because it clearly states this in the Quran. Kill them. They're infidels. Kill them. Infidels. Kill them. Jews. Kill them. So they got and kill them. Now, if they leave these 5 battalions in Rafah in those ambulances, damn. They're good. I'll give them that. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's pretty good. But again, you can't leave 5 battalions at your rear. And look at a map. These idiots that are out there protesting. Look at a damn map. You will find that Israel's this big. like this. And they actually add to their territories when they were attacked by 5 countries. And I think that was 66 or 63, in the 60s. It was the 6 Day War. And they won Jerusalem at that time. And they protect the Golden Rock. There have been many cases where they've tried to blow it up, somebody or other. Because, again, it's supposed to be on the footprint of where the temple is to be rebuilt. And unless the temple's rebuilt, you can't get the Messiah back. I call him teacher. Hippy the Bar, host of Jesus to y'all. Um, I just found so much going on. Did anybody hear about the Dark Pyramid in Alaska? Where there's so many Alaskans. They're like 30 or 40,000 a year are going missing in Alaska. That's a lot of people. It's a big state, and it has a lot of problems like the cold and it's dark for the 290 days of the year. But it's a lot of people in a year that just they were never on the planet. And it's been leaked about this dark pyramid that it houses enough power that is and it's releasing the power, and they're working there supposedly with the aliens. This is another reason they give them supposedly so many civilians that they can take and experiment on. Just tell them who they are. Again, you can, and this is from whistleblowers who were actually doing it. You can't make it up. Now, you got to know these guys are not like Paul, which was a great movie, funny as hell. They're not like, let's see, what was the other one that came with the guy with the little finger? That's not like that. These aliens aren't like that. If they wanted us off this planet, they could have done it 200 million years ago. They're still finding out of place objects, which is they call opes. They did. 200 million year old hammer and a thing of coal that's already becoming fossilized. How do you get a 200 million year old hammer? Things like this need to be out in the open, need to be studied. Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley still glows green from radiation. Libya has part of the desert, which has, I forget what they call the glass, but it can only be done by, nuclear power. Same with the Mohenjo-Daro. It was the bricks were just metal. They weren't these sun bricks either. These were concrete stones, heavy duty stuff, and they were vitrified, which means they were melted at a very high level of heat. Um, there aren't any hardly human remains, and the few that they found were in the town square holding hands, and they still glowed on the radiation factors. So who did that? They didn't even give the Indus Valley credit for being a civilization, and theirs is one of the oldest and best well kept as far as records. Um, but then again, that first Egypt was cradle of civilization. Then they said, "Oh, Samaria is the cradle of civilization." Now they're finding out there are pyramids everywhere. Apparently, one of them is actually the Dark Pyramid in Alaska is where they supposedly gas up all the ships. Yeah, and it would run the planet. The energy coming from it would run a planet. We wouldn't need electric bills. So, yeah, do they know that? Of course they know that. Maybe it's just not being given to the regular officials because, they're too busy running around with the lobbyists and getting 21 million to stick in their bank account. I don't know when everybody's going to stand up and say, "Get the hell out." But you really, as far as I can see, you can't vote them in and you can't vote them out. Got nothing to do with us. You might as well call us Little Russia. Where are our rights? We Bible thumping, rifle carrying, homegrown terrorists if you're a veteran. Well, who's taking care of that? Huh? In San Francisco, what happens when you call 911? Anybody show up? Hands? Yeah, I don't think so. No, they don't. And in I give it most major cities, I'm running out of time, that they have told the population, they've got up done news, whatever you call them, I call them photo ops, but they've got up there and said, if you need 911, keep yourselves armed because probably we won't respond. We've been defunded. Now, where did you get that tank? I don't know. They've been defunded. The other thing on YouTube, besides looking for me, I wish you would hit that bell. Somebody come up here and get me convinced that these people are protesting the right side and that they know who they're protesting for. and that they know the history of the people they are protesting for. I mean it. Bring your butt to my bar and talk to me. Don't be racist, because if you believe what you believe, you're allowed to do so. It's called America, but that gives me the right to believe what I believe too. So you're standing up there with a bullhorn telling everybody else, well, we're stupid because we're not doing what you're doing. Well, that's not your right. Your right is to say your piece because it's America. It's our right to say the same damn thing back. And don't you forget it around me, because I'll certainly find a darn good way to remind you that that's the way it is. What works for you always works for an American. So don't think that you could just jump off in my country and do what you want to do. You're getting away with it now, but I don't think that's going to last much longer. And I sure as hell, if I were you, wouldn't try to come down south and take one of these boys' rifles because I'd pay good money to see that. Send that girl that wears that little turban all the time. I can't remember her name. I used to call her OSB or something. I don't know. Send her. I'd pay good money to see that. I really would. So if any of you got some cojones, if any of you got a spine, if any of you have convictions about what you were doing, get up here and talk to me. Then you don't have the courage of your convictions if not one of you can do that. Not one of you have taken that challenge that I issued 2 days ago. I issued it again yesterday. Stand by it again today. I double dare one of you to get up here on live stream chat or even in a comment. I'll get there with you. I dare you. I double dare you to get up there and convince me that what these protesters are saying and doing is right. And I will point out 500 million different ways that they're wrong. Is that why you won't take the challenge? Huh? Little puppies? Uh-huh. And if you can't do it, why can't the parents contact me and say, it's like this, this, and this? Prove it to me that this is why it's okay for your kid, who are you spending thousands of dollars a year on for an education, is sitting in a tent. You explain that to me, because I don't get it as a parent. I don't get it at all. And I would love a good debate about this one. That's why we call it social Woodstock. It's not evil. It's not to perpetrate evil or good. It's just to speak. The same right that's given to you is also given to me. So I dare you to show me why you are convinced that this is the right path. Because you're trying to say it's the right path for America. And I got news for you, Cupcake. It ain't. You can try and convince me, but I guarantee you, you're walking uphill in glass and a blizzard that you are never going to even understand, let alone fight me and win. Please come and make my year. I would be so happy to see anyone with the courage of the convictions enough to stand up and say so without using the racist card. I don't care if you're purple or pink polka dots. That don't make a good goddamn to me. What does make a difference to me is what you're doing on my college campuses and what you're saying to people about Americans. And why is Americans allowing this stupidity? I don't get it. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I'm going to let all y'all run around while your kids are screwing up your money and their lives. Because it ain't helping you, and it sure as hell ain't helping them. Why it's happening, I don't know. As a parent, as a grandparent, I'm like, what the hell? But the challenge stands. Let's see if we get any takers. Huh? I bet we don't. Toodles. It's not gonna.